This is the Evil Never Dies podcast with Brett and Carl. This podcast may contain adult themes, violence, and strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Evil Never Dies podcast. What's going on, Carl? Same shit, different day.
Yeah, but at least it's baseball season, so that's good.
Did they win last night?
No, yeah, they've won. They're kicking ass this year.
Who the hell did they play?
Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, okay.
The current stadiumless team because their roof blew off from the hurricane last year.
Oh, shit. Well,
They
where
still
the hell?
ain't got a roof, so they're having to play somewhere else.
Really? That's fucked up. But
I had another message from somebody wanting to come to the haunted house today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Who's
But
that?
we're closed.
Oh, shit. Weren't we just talking about this?
I think we were.
Oh, good thing it's only one night this year.
Yeah, thank God.
Oh, right before we got on here, dude, I watched this cool on YouTube. It was Ramstein putting up their stage setup.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Takes them 6 days to put that shit up. They got two whole entire sets. They take to one city, and when they're done with they like revolve around each other. And so it's a continuous thing every 6 days, which is why it probably took them from 2019 to finish their tour last year.
Probably so, yeah.
But it's cool, man. The way they put it together. 150 trucks, semi trucks full of shit. Crazy.
Pretty crazy. So tonight, Brett wanted to do a Hammer film, preferably a vampire film.
I did.
But not Dracula. That's what you told me.
Well, you said you wanted to maybe we should do a Hammer film. And then I said, yeah, let's do a regular Hammer film, non-Dracula. So
we didn't do Dracula, but tonight we'll be doing Countess Dracula.
No, we're not doing Countess Dracula.
That's what I watched. Are you joking?
Huh?
Are you for real?
Yeah, I'm for real.
No, I watched the wrong movie, I guess.
You probably know this one by heart anyway.
Yeah.
Tonight we're doing The Vampire Lovers,
which is the part one of the Karnstein vampire trilogy, which most people have probably never heard of.
Yep.
I don't know that you've ever heard of it.
I didn't hear about it until we started this tonight. Or when we decided we were doing this. So
originally you wanted to do the Twins of Evil.
Yeah.
And I said, you realize that's part 3 of the trilogy, maybe part 2. And you're like, oh, shit.
I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is he talking about? This trilogy bullshit.
The Karnstein vampires.
Yeah. So we're doing the first one tonight, The Vampire Lovers.
Yeah, the Karnstein vampires. It was a series of 3 movies produced by Hammer Films, and they're notable for their lesbian storylines.
Yes, definitely.
And
how can you go wrong? Lesbian vampires, huh?
There's a whole storyline around these Karnstein vampires. There's some books and everything. So I'm guessing we're going to do all 3 movies, so I'll get more into the Karnstein vampires as we go throughout these 3 movies. If you get past the first one.
Oh, we'll get past it, but it is based on the 1872 Sheridan Le Fanu novella called Carmilla.
Carmela, yes. Yes, it is.
And what did you have something you were gonna say? Or
About what?
I don't know. I sort of interrupted you there. I'm sorry.
No, I don't have a clue what I was gonna say.
Alrighty. Anyway, directed by Roy Ward Baker. Screenplay by Tudor Gates. Like I said, it was adapted from the Carmilla by, I don't even want to say that guy's name again. And adaptation by Harry Fine, Tudor Gates, and Michael Style, which were like the three big wigs for Hammer Films. What are you doing? Shooing a bee away or something?
Yeah. So, the Carmilla novel actually was one of the first vampire novels ever written. It predated Dracula.
Yeah, it did. It predated Dracula for sure. Yeah.
The novel, not the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Produced by Michael Style and Harry Fine. Cinematography by Moray Grant. Edited by James Needs. Music by Harry Robertson. And the score was almost non-existent in this.
Yeah, there ain't a big score to this movie.
Uh, Production companies, Hammer Films Productions and Fantail Films.
And what about American International Pictures?
And American International
Yeah.
Pictures.
And that's sort of a thing because American International and Hammer were rivals.
Huh.
Had always been rivals. A lot of the Roger Corman movies actually was came from the American.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they were always sort of a lot of people called them the American Hammer. So it was sort of funny that they actually worked together and it was a movie like this because they were both trying to get out of that whole, 50s and 60s
Yep.
feel, if you would.
Yeah,
So
they really pushed the nudity and
yes, they did.
the
And
sexuality of it
they were
all.
really both trying to break out of their mold. So I find it really funny that they actually come together and work on a movie together after all these years. Probably a friendly rivalry, but nevertheless, it was a rivalry.
And it was distributed by MGM EMI Distributors. Didn't MGM end up buying out that American International?
I think so because American International is now owned by Amazon, which bought MGM. So I think you were correct.
Okay. That's what I thought. Release date October 4th, 1970. Has a running time of 91 minutes. Country of origin, United Kingdom, English language. And the budget was 165,227 pounds, which I have no clue what that translates into US dollar.
Well, from what I gathered, the budget was probably a bit less than what they said. I think they were expecting a bigger budget than they actually got. So
I
there you
have
go.
I have no idea how much pounds dwindles down
Especially
to
in
there.
1970.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't you go over the plot of this, Carl?
The movie starts really. Oh, I forgot I'm supposed to be reviewing Countess Dracula, right? I couldn't even trick you with that one. So this movie starts really creepy because there's this sort of gown thing that's floating around a cemetery. And like a veil or a gown. I don't know exactly what it is. A shroud, maybe?
Yeah, shroud. Yeah, I think
And
that's what the guy calls it.
and there's a baron there. Barons usually hunt vampires. That's the way we do things. And he's looking to hunt these. I think the vampire had killed his wife or something. It was these Karnstein vampires. So he's looking to slay the one. So he steals its veil and it follows him into the cave or wherever the hell they were. And the only way to kill these particular vampires is stake in the heart or behead. They can actually go out in some sun. They don't die by fire. So he gets the vampire in there, and It's a young blonde vampire, and he takes a sword and whops off the head. And
Was
it's
that
some really good blood.
was that supposed to be his wife?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They don't really say. It's sort of a weird beginning. Um, and then they fast forward a few years, and who is it? I guess it's the same. It's she's not called Carmela yet. I think she's called Marcella.
Yeah.
And they show up at a party, and there's a countess there, and the general who is we'll talk about him a little later. And then this movie's so weird. The man in black is riding around on a horse and tells the countess to tell the general that she has a sick relative and leave Marcella behind with him. So this Marcella is now living with the count and his daughter or niece or something like that, and she'll end up killing the daughter, and or is it a niece or a daughter? I can't remember at this point. Either way, then she moves on to another place and changes her name to Carmela. And apparently these vampires just go from place to place, killing and kissing and all kinds of weird crap. This is a weird movie. It's hard to explain besides what I just told you.
Yeah, it's very long and drawn out for sure.
Yeah, I preferred the next movie myself to this one, but I guess you got to start somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, got to start somewhere. All right, well, let's go over the cast. First off, we got Ingrid Pitt as Marcella,
Carmela.
Carmilla, and Mercala, I guess she was called in part of the movie too. Next,
She
we
takes
got
aliases.
what's that? Aliases, yeah.
Yeah.
Next, we got Pippa Steele as Laura Spielsdorf, Madeline Smith as Emma Morton, Peter Cushing as General Spielsdorf,
Yeah, that's our general I was talking about earlier who was running the party.
uh, George Cole as Roger Morton, Dawn Adams as the Countess,
Who was apparently the mother of Marcella, Carmela, and whoever. I guess. I think they're all I think this is all some of the Karnstein vampire clan.
Next, we got Kate O'Mara as the governess, Mademoiselle Peridot. Douglas Wilmer as Baron Joachim von Hartog.
He was our vampire slayer.
John Finch as Carl Ebhart. Ferdy Main as the doctor. What a fucking name, Ferdy Main. Kristen Lindholm as the first vampire, the blonde woman.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
John Forbes Robertson as the Man in Black. And I guess they offered that role to Christopher Lee, but he turned it down.
He was getting a little fed up at this point with things.
And then this guy here, I guess he would also play Dracula in the Seven Brothers or whatever.
Seven Brother, yeah, which is the final Hammer Dracula movie.
So yeah,
that guy's creepy as shit. So,
next we got Shaleigh Wilcox as the housekeeper, Harvey Hall as Renton the butler, Janet Key as Gretchen the maid, and Charles Farrell as the landlord. And that is the cast of The Vampire Lovers.
it really isn't. It's more of a singular. This Carmela character that's going around interested in the other females. I don't really know that they're interested back. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Sort of a weird title. I don't see that it really fits the movie well.
Yeah.
It should be called The Vampire Horror or something. I don't know.
Vampire Horrors.
I think I would have just called it Carmilla as the novel. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that probably they should have, huh?
Well, again, Hammer especially is trying to change the tune, so they want to get a more I guess promiscuous, whatever you call it. Not really. I don't know.
Promiscuous.
I guess I don't know if that's real. I mean, that's why I stopped. I don't know if that's the right term or not, but I don't fucking know. I thought it was a weird name.
You got the Blu-ray or anything for
Yeah,
this?
it's right in
Or
my hand right here. I'm actually
well,
looking at it.
why don't you go over it and let's hear about that?
Well, you got to first off, you got to see this. It says caution, not for the mentally immature. This movie.
Oh no shit. That's
No
funny.
shit. So what we got here is the second release of Vampire Lovers on Blu-ray. There was another version that had come out on another label. I want to say I forget who it was.
I think
So
MGM put one out,
they might have put the DVD out.
and then Shout Factory, Scream Factory put out their
Yeah,
version.
and this is what we got here. It's got the a lot better cover with this than the original art, which just looks stupid. I
Yeah,
always thought that was a dumb, but that was the actual poster for the movie right here.
yeah.
So I do like the slip cover a little better. And what we got here is an actual 4K scan of the original camera negative. It
Mm.
looks great. It looks better than I've ever seen this movie look. The blood looks really, really red and deep.
Yeah, they changed their blood around in the
They
70s
changed their blood
too.
around. Um, it's got a lot of special features too. There was an interview with a film historian that knows a lot about the movie.
Hmm.
There's audio commentary with old Roy Ward Baker, the director, and Ingrid Pitts was on it as well as the screenwriter. Then they had a couple other commentaries with more historians. Um, there's an actual little short documentary on the making of the Vampire Lovers, and the coolest thing on here might have been this Ingrid Pitts, who has a hard time hearing her voice. She doesn't speak good English, really. She's very Polish.
Yeah, didn't you
She
say they
actually,
dubbed her voice in this movie?
I think that was the Countess Dracula. They dubbed her voice. I think
Oh,
this is
okay.
really her talking, but she actually reads the novel Carmela, which I would not want to listen to her read. No offense to the lady.
Oh, she
That
reads the whole thing?
she reads the novel.
Really?
So this thing is packed with special features.
Well, that you would have thought
Um,
you would have thought they would have had somebody else read it. They
they did not.
maybe they should have overdubbed her on that.
So really good copy of this. I think it's still in print. Uh, Scream Factory lost a lot of their Hammer films about a year ago, so if you can find this, it looks really good, and it's definitely got more special features than a lot of the other Hammer films that they've put out.
Cool.
It gets a real special treatment on its second Blu-ray release.
Well,
I
that
don't know
was
what I
like
did with the first one.
they were trying to kick off the decade of the 70s fucking right off with this, I think, you know.
Yeah, with the like I said, that vampire lover's name especially, and having the females and chained up man. I don't even know what this picture. Where the hell they came up with this artwork? It's awful.
Yeah, it's a
So
bunch of stuff that wasn't in the movie.
yeah, but yeah, I double dipped on this. I liked the movie enough to where I did get the second release of it, and I'm glad I did. So highly recommend the Blu-ray.
Well, it's on Tubi. That's where I watched it. It looked pretty good on there too.
I
So
think they get the Scream Factory transfers on Tubi. We've said before. So yeah.
yeah, so it looked really good. All right. Well, I guess I will start going over some trivia.
There's
Uh,
probably not a lot on this movie, I'm gonna assume.
there is, but it goes into one thing, talking about another, and then it goes back to the other thing. So, uh, I guess she did a lot of interviews.
The Ingrid Pitts.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did. That's why I think there's so many of things with her on this Blu-ray. Apparently, she was really proud of this movie.
yeah, she was very proud of it. Uh, I guess she didn't have no problem with being nude.
Oh, apparently not.
Uh,
That's one of my problems with the movie. It, these, it appears these, quote unquote lovers of hers appear to be, maybe younger, older teenagers almost. And Ingrid Pitts looked to be about 35 or 40 in this thing to me. She did not look the proper age. Not how old she was, but I don't
yeah,
know.
she was definitely older for sure.
Yes.
I don't know if she was 40.
I don't know, dude. She certainly liked to strip down and
Yeah, she didn't have a problem.
yeah.
But yeah, she didn't have the other girls though. They didn't even know that there was nude scenes in it. You know,
No, they just
they just it got thrown at them at the last minute. You know, like okay, and she sort of helped them. You know, like be more comfortable like with it all. So all right. James Carreras rejected a suggestion that Bond girl Shirley Eaton play the lead on the grounds that she was too old. Ingrid Pitt was only 10 months younger than Eaton was, and she was eventually cast
I was gonna say he couldn't have gotten too much older.
for sure. More interview stuff. While filming, Ingrid Pitt and the girls had a great deal of trouble getting through the scenes without giggling. In the scene where Ingrid was has to drink from Kate O'Mara, her vampire teeth kept falling out and onto Kate's cleavage. She eventually had to steal some gum from one of the stagehands to stick the fangs back in. Huh.
The fangs look pretty good in this, actually.
You can sort of tell on some of the scenes, you could see it though, where
They look better than some of the older Hammer fangs. Of course, it's and it's later date at this point too.
sounds like they had a fitting problem though. Ingrid Pitt once said that the extra perks in appearing nude on screen, everybody gets very salacious. In the bathtub scene, the crew kept checking that the water was at the right temperature. I bet they were.
I guess so, yeah.
Are the lights too bright? Are you comfortable? I guess they
I
were.
thought he's asking me if my lights were too bright. I was gonna say, no, my lights are great.
Would you like some cognac? They told her. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's see here. The director claimed that after reading the novella Carmilla twice, he didn't get a sense of any lesbian content. Ingrid Pitt, who also claimed she didn't play the role as though the vampire was a lesbian, but asexual.
I think that's exactly what it was. I think that's the good way of putting it because most vampires probably would be, honestly. So I see that.
All right, let's see here. Most of these are about her sex scenes, man. It's like
Yeah. Well, I wasn't overly impressed with all that myself.
Ingrid Pitt was offered the role in the sequel Lust for a Vampire, 1971, but she disliked the script and chose to star in Countess Dracula instead.
The Lust for a Vampire is a lot better movie than Countess Dracula. I will tell you that right now. By far.
And this is the only film where she plays Carmilla Hardstein, whatever. The decapitation sound effect was achieved by cutting through a head of cabbage. Oh, let's see here. Talked about that already about Christopher Lee offered the
Turn it
part
down.
this place takes film in 1790 and Peter Cushing was cast late stage of the movie.
Well, I think his wife had passed away around this point, or am I wrong about that?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, he was on that TV show too.
Yeah.
at the same time. Sherlock Holmes or whatever for the BBC.
Oh, and if anyone's interested, the Blu-ray is still available.
How much is it?
$27, and it's worth it.
Well, that ain't bad for
No,
4K.
no, it's not 4K. It's
Oh, it's
4K
Blu-ray.
rendering into Blu-ray, so as
Oh,
close as
okay.
you. They don't need to put these movies in 4K. There's no need to.
Yeah.
They look fine.
Oh, let's see here. You sort of talked about this. Carmela and Marcella can walk in sunlight, cast a reflection in water, but it's repelled by a cross, crucifix, and garlic. Yeah, they had garlic flowers.
And they're actually real garlic flowers in this movie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
That's
sort of interesting kind of side note. They actually used real garlic flowers, the blooming
The
garlic.
Vampire Lovers was a landmark for Hammer Films as it was the first of their horror films to contain nudity, due mostly to an insistence by the U.S. distribution partner, American International Pictures. It also featured the first female vampire who fancied women. Due to these new directions, it ended up being the first Hammer film to receive an R rating in the U.S. and became a huge hit.
I didn't know it was a huge hit.
It got the R rating due to the vampire bites inflicted on the woman's breast.
Yeah.
Can't be biting no titties over here. Oh shit. Yeah, we've talked about all this stuff, dude. There's nothing
I
more
I
really.
think I know more about everything that can be known about the movie, probably.
Well, do you got anything else you want to
No,
add?
I think we've already said about everything's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Um,
Short little episode here, but
no, last week it went on, and even though I got knocked out and you got knocked out,
yeah, that was awful, dude.
it wasn't awful. I thought it was a good episode.
Well, the getting knocked off part.
When I was listening to it on YouTube, and you kept, well, I wish he was here. I'm like, just forget, you don't need me. Y'all did good without me.
I just kept wondering where you were at because you wouldn't answer me back.
You kept bugging me. I'm like, you need to do the show. I was about to tell you that.
I was getting buzzed by
I
then.
know you was. It was annoying, actually.
That's
It was
me,
a,
Mr. Annoying.
it is, ain't it? Yeah. When you get drunk, you can a little bit.
Mm,
Just when you're drunk.
just when I'm drunk.
Just when you're
No other
drunk.
times. Are
No,
you sure?
I'm positive. Ask Richard. He'll agree with me.
All right. Well,
So yeah, this is I don't know. I don't know that this is Hammer's finest production, but it's easy to understand that it is really popular even today. It's a pretty popular cult film.
yeah.
And
And
I think
again,
a lot of
you might have
people,
considered this
I
uh
would not.
an exploitation movie.
No,
You
I
don't
would
think
not.
so?
No,
Okay.
I don't think it is, but that's my thinking.
It
I
was
haven't
like
watched your documentary yet, so I'm going to say no, it's not.
okay. I think it might be a little bit, but
It's not racy enough.
you don't think so?
Hell no, not from some of the movies that come out in the early
Just
70s.
nudity don't do it.
No, Ingrid Pitts did nothing for me either.
All right.
Not impressed with her in
I
general.
think the women get better looking as these three movies go
They
on.
do. They do. So what is I guess we'll go ahead and let you do this review
Well, this
first.
is, I think, the first time I ever seen this movie, dude. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen it before. If I do, I don't remember it. Uh, Good cinematography and stuff in it, good effects. Like you said, the blood, they changed their blood up. Had some really good blood. Uh, the decapitation scenes were fucking awesome. Uh, like I said, how can you go wrong with lesbian vampires, you know? Uh, I probably don't know. I don't know if I'd watch this again. It's sort of long and drawn out, like I said. It's a slow burn, and I don't know, man. Not a big fan of it, really. Maybe if I watch it a couple more times, I might see some other things that I
Some
didn't
more
see before.
redeeming factors to it.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, maybe I'll get that Blu-ray and just to have it on
Yeah,
hand, add one to the collection.
of
So,
course. Yeah, you need to add to the collection.
but I'm middle of the road on this. I'm gonna give it a 3, just because it's a Hammer film, and I like the way they went with a different direction.
What do you think of that Ingrid Pitts?
She's okay, but Hammer's got a lot way better looking women than her.
I agree. I'm not, I mean, she's dead, so I guess I can dog on her, but I just
I
wasn't
wouldn't
real.
dog on her.
I'm not dogging on her. I just don't think she was really great for this role. My opinion on that.
Yeah, but some parts you couldn't hardly understand her, but I
Yeah, I think that's why then the next one, Countess Dracula, they dubbed her. I
gotcha.
think. I'm just guessing. She's dubbed in the next movie she does. I know that much.
But yeah, she's got a really strong Polish accent, and she was trying to sound German, so
She was, yeah, and it seemed very fakey.
very. But yeah, I'm gonna be middle of the road. I'm gonna give it a 3. So
Well, I'll give it about a 3.5, mainly just because I like the vampire lore that's created in this movie. Um, sort of different, sort of different, and a little confusing if you don't pay a lot of attention, especially with the veils and all that stuff. It's like that was like with instead of coffins, they lived in these weird, shrouds or whatever they were. I like the fact that they're able to walk in the daylight. That's kind of a new thing, I believe, at this point, and
yeah,
they can only be killed with the beheading or the staking. So yeah, it gives some good new vampire mythology that's not been seen, and I think it's a good beginning for this Karnstein vampire trilogy, which could have been done better. I'm sure if it was done either a few years earlier, it probably wouldn't be as racy, obviously, or a few years later if Hammer were still making films. Um, might be something they could look at doing a remake of. I don't know.
yeah. That's what I was just thinking, because
Yeah,
they're starting to make stuff again. They've
yeah. They just was starting to fall out of the world here by this point, and they were trying to keep relevant. And I think this movie's okay. It's just a little dated, and I don't think that Ingrid Pitts was, like I said, she just wasn't the best choice to be the lead in this. And Peter Cushing obviously just cashed it in. He didn't seem to care.
Yeah, he didn't have too many scenes in the
The
movie
Man in
for
Black
sure.
won me over. That was the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
He was cool.
but
But
yeah,
yeah, I don't hate this movie. I do like the other two better by a lot, especially the second one, which is we're gonna do next. I think not next week, but 6 months from now.
maybe
Lust for a
sooner.
Vampire will be
May-
our next non-Dracula Hammer film, vampire Hammer film.
Uh, have you watched them? What are they? The Quatermass
I
movies?
never watched those because they're weird science fiction.
Okay,
I'm not. I'm mostly into Star Wars and Star Trek. I'm not a real huge science fiction person, believe it or not. And
yeah.
they don't even really. I don't think George Lucas considered Star Wars science fiction.
Don't.
So I don't know.
All right. Well, I guess you got anything else?
I don't have anything else on this
I don't
evening.
either, man. It's pretty much cut and dry on
Cut
this.
and dry. We're gonna. I would recommend this movie if you're into vampires or into Hammer. I would say definitely watch it.
Yeah, especially if you're a big Hammer film fan.
And then watch the other two. It's a good little trilogy that most people don't even know exist. I think that if we do the next one, I'm going to get into this whole. There's a lot of stuff about these vampires, and kind of want to save it for the next episode. So whenever we do that, I'll talk more about the Karnstein vampires.
Okay, cool. Bring it. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching, listening, and shirts are on sale. Shirts have been on sale for like the last month now.
Yeah.
$16. The link's in the show notes. You got anything else? We got Texas Frightmare coming up here in about a month.
Yep.
That'll be fun.
You want to meet Linda Blair?
I do too, but I ain't got the
money. No, I said you do, not me.
Oh,
I ain't paying to meet nobody.
Yeah, me neither. Especially as much as they want. But I don't know, might not have very many more chances, so
might not. You never know when these people are going to quit doing these conventions.
Well, if I run into
like Savini, he's at every convention, but one of these days,
yep, he's not
going to quit coming probably.
Yep. Yeah. I actually just talked to him at his table one time. He's actually a pretty cool guy.
That's like George Romero. He used to make all the conventions and then he passed away. So,
and yeah, he was very cool. I've heard people say that he's an asshole, and I didn't think that at all. I didn't even buy nothing. I just talked to him. I think that was the first year I went to Texas Frightmare. He was there. There wasn't no line or nothing.
He's there every year.
He was just sitting there. And then he'd put his sign up. He'd go out and smoke if he wasn't busy. He'd just go out and smoke cigarettes. So, but all right, everybody, that's all we got. Guess we'll talk to you next week. Who knows what we're gonna do then?
Never know.
Never know. All right, everybody. Stay evil, I guess.
You don't have nothing else?
I ain't got nothing else. Bye.
Come with us if you dare into a twilight world of unspeakable horror.
You must die. Everybody must die.
Sample, if you dare, the deadly passion of the vampire lovers. The vampire lovers. Perverted creatures of the night find their victims everywhere. The unsuspecting merrymakers in glittering ballrooms with their young and tender throats. The sleeping beauties whose troubled dreams turn into real, terrifying nightmares.
It was a cat! A huge cat!
For God's sake, save her!
No rest for the vampire lovers. No escape till their evil hearts are stilled for all eternity. If one remains, yes, even one, there will be thousands more. Beware. Beware the cold caress, the kiss that kills. Beware the vampire lovers.